I don't trust easily. I guess I've been burned more times than I care to remember. But when the world is also fairly burning, how do you stop the fire? How to control the surge of failed efforts to make inchworm progress on matters whose only importance lies seemingly in the heart and soul of you alone? Just do your best. Nothing good comes easily. You can do anything you set your mind to. God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. I don't know if I buy these slogans or if I ever did. Positive sayings aren't for me. You either do it or you don't. But I have been naive, it's how I am, and so very immersed in my craft, a regular free bird flying over dangerous waters, just barely managing to stave off a falcon raid. More than ever before, I feel lost, stranded, afraid, and misunderstood. Music is not helping me out of this. Where did I go wrong? I did well in school, yet in the middle of a global crisis with no bubble but my own, I'm losing my grip on reality. Goals are dying right along with my creativity, my ideas. Who is this stranger living inside me, this useless body that can't think through its own mental fog? But there's Bach. Surely that's a reservoir of hope. I know I can play this music with something meaningful to say, or at least so I've been told. The only reason I ever really found a unique way of playing this music was from feeling like I don't fit in, like I don't belong in the world and never will. Penny, you have a processing problem. There it is again in my thoughts. This phrase told me by a professor during my undergraduate studies. I have a processing problem. Feeling ill-equipped, a failure, a nothing, a piece of human trash, I turned to the music, harbored it selfishly, gave each note more attention than I'd ever given any human, and they gave back. The notes have never said anything unkind to me. They are good and sincere companions. And if I applied any lack of normal human processing skills to the music of Bach, it meant I could be detailed and literal without being picked at. I could find the musical treasure. It was my secret discovery, a mystic, spiritual world of sound in which to retreat. Teachers couldn't tell me again that I don't have enough life experience to play certain works, or that I play without emotion. As long as I played Bach in my own way, I was in the driver's seat. But now I fear I am struggling to hold on to my craft. I can't think clearly. My mind doesn't know what thoughts to put in it. I hear of musicians dropping left and right, but I mustn't let that happen to me. I can't. It would invalidate everything I've lived and suffered for. I must trust that somewhere deep in the innermost fiber of my being, there is energy and spirit. I used to rely on the legacy of Glenn Gould for ideas and inspiration, but now I can't get out of my mind that I have been a privileged white girl. I am critically aware of this, and mentally paralyzed by feelings of guilt and hate for myself and my people. What do I put in my head? Positive slogans don't cut it. They never did. I am working to be a good listener. I am aware of inequalities and of having led a privileged life. I may struggle in more ways than I care to think about, but being denied access to something because I am white has never been one of them. Society catered to blonde white people like me, and I unknowingly benefited from it. If I am privileged, then Glenn Gould was privileged. Here was a white man whose family fared financially well during the Great Depression, and who never did without when it came to basic living essentials and musical tools, equipment, etc. I am coming to grips with how to use his ideas going forward. I think Glenn tried very hard to be a good person, but even he left room for improvement. Those romantically tinged views of his about the solitude of the North are captivating to one who has not endured brutal treatment from the white man, to one who has had the luxury of viewing the North in a romantic way. The indigenous people of the North and the hardships that they have and continue to face are about as far removed from Glen's views of the North as one can get. Yet, there is something undeniably spiritual about the North, more importantly, about solitude. But solitude is all I have these days. Or is it? I have been inside my home completely alone for over a year, and this is not the solitude I recall and love. This is a poisonous, demented, lonely place where nobody hears me but my own four walls. But I am fortunate to have a home, I tell myself, a safe place to call my own. And yet I continue to utter the words, I cannot go on. But I do go on, though perhaps not in any real and meaningful way. Have I lowered my standards? More guilt. I should be learning all the Beethoven sonatas. I should be reading every book I own. I should learn the works of marginalized composers and create opportunities for those less privileged than me. At this point, I am breaking. Breaking? Both are accurate, but despite my loss of interest in Glenn Gould, at the end of the day, it is when I am playing the music of Bach that I feel rid of the guilt, of the fear and dread of being a citizen of this cruel and vicious world. This commitment to sound, I can and must continue. But again, the guilt, so much guilt, paranoia, and feelings of having missed out on a gene that makes you a normal human being. There's guilt over not being the scholarly academic figure I feel I should be as someone with a DMA. Doesn't mean anything, I think I once heard it put. I've tried, but I never seem to fit the mold of what one with a DMA degree should be doing. I am different. I don't fit in. I'm misunderstood. What am I going to do with myself when the pre-COVID world had little use for me? Dig deeper, I tell myself. Use the crisis to create something new. And so, here I am, writing about myself in negative ways, exposing weaknesses, trying to convey my experience as a professional, is that word truly applicable? Musician during a pandemic. My mind may be losing its vision and wonder. I may have excessive fear of germs. Perhaps I'm even somewhere along the autism spectrum. I never could follow a storyline or anticipate characters' actions. I never minded being alone and focusing on something intensely for a long time. And goodness knows I make more detailed notes than I should about little things. But I can read people, and what I fortunately don't yet see are looks of alarm. So, this privileged, guilt-ridden, detail-oriented, isolated musician surviving a pandemic, this privileged white girl who plays difficult old music at the piano, practicing thousands of hours to learn a program so that just thinking about it brings me such feelings of despair. Maybe you ought to tell me the answer. But really, I think I know. The answer always was and is to move someone through sound. And for this, I will persist.